all I gotta say is that this better be worth my time. On November 5th, just one day after this wild, ferocious, vivacious new moon that we just had in Scorpio, opposite Uranus, the planet of wake-ups and shake-ups, we have two planetary shifts today happening again on November 11th. And they're two personal planets, so this is a pretty big deal. We're definitely going to be feeling a shift, definitely going to be feeling some of the pressure release after this new moon. And yeah, there's all kinds of cosmic nudges to loosen our grip a little bit here. So the first shift I'm going to be talking to you about, and I'm going to break this up into two videos, is Venus. But Mercury is also changing signs today. So Mercury is entering Scorpio, but Venus is also entering Capricorn today. And there's good reason why we need two separate videos for this, because we're going to be working with Venus in Capricorn for a very long time. At the end of December, toward the end of December on the 19th, Venus is going to be stationing retrograde. So we are going to be experiencing one of the rarest retrogrades. It is the rarest retrograde of the planets. And thus, Venus will be spending an extended 4 months in the sign of Capricorn. Now, this doesn't happen all that often. Every 8 years, Venus is going to retrograde within the same sign. And like I said, Venus doesn't retrograde very frequently at all. It's about every 18 months. And so we can think back to December of 2013 and January of 2014 for when the last time Venus went retrograde in your Capricorn house. You can think about some of the themes that were coming up for you around the time. What were you paring down? Because Capricorn is a sign, especially for Venus, where less is more. We're really thinking about the future of our relationships, the long-term yield of our relationships. And that's both in terms of what we're getting out of the current relationships as well as what we are putting in. Venus in Capricorn, especially throughout this retrograde process, is going to ask us to focus on the things that matter the most. What's going to matter to us the most, especially in the long term, when we think about this phase of our life, or when we think about our lives in general, about the choices that we made, about how we invest in our relationships, how we spend our time. And all of those things, those are all going to be thoughts that are on our mind right now. Venus in Capricorn tends to prioritize things that are higher quality. So not just relationships, we're talking all things, because Venus is what we find beautiful, what we find attractive, the things that we want to surround ourselves with. So Venus in Capricorn is basically a purveyor of highest quality, the top shelf, fine leather goods, things that will withstand the test of time. And I was like joking as I was writing this out to myself, I guess, that we'll probably all be getting ready to do some holiday shopping at the secondhand stores, at the thrift stores, because yeah, like we want those higher quality items, but maybe it's not about spending so much. Or maybe we want to spend a lot on something one time and have it last for decades. But I'm just thinking about everything going on with wages in this country right now. Like here where I am in the United States, there's a big workers' revolution happening. There's a shortage of workers. Everyone's talking about these shortages of supply that we're going to be having. And yet we live in a capitalist culture where there's so much overproduction of unnecessary items. So I see this playing into the Saturn-Uranus square in a very fascinating way, especially because Venus Capricorn is ruled by Saturn in Aquarius right now. So which is very much going to be entering into that exact, for the third time, that exact square with Uranus just one day later after Venus stations retrograde on the 20th of December. So we'll be having that third exact hit of the Saturn-Uranus square. Should be an exciting time, especially because Venus will be stationing retrograde in a conjunction with Pluto. So it's going to get sticky. It's going to get intense. With Pluto, there's always like high stakes, I want to say. Like it's like making a deal with the devil, so to speak. Like there's always like the hand behind the back when we're shaking the hand. Like that's something that we want to watch out for. The potential to be used or manipulated financially. So this is going to be a theme that we're working with here. This will be the last time that Venus goes retrograde in Capricorn alongside Pluto, because the next time Venus goes retrograde in Capricorn, luckily and fortunately and unfortunately, Pluto will no longer be in Capricorn. So this is a big deal. Very often when Venus goes retrograde, it's a 40-day period. So we think about all those 40-day practices throughout the ancient religions about renunciation, about giving something up, about solitude, about kind of paring things down so that we can focus on the things that really matter most to us. So a great way to kind of harness this energy is to intentionally give something up. Like Lent is usually, I think Lent is 30 days, maybe it's 40. But I know in a lot of other spiritual practices, there's the 40-day theme. I think it is 40 because Jesus spent 40 days in the desert. And it's believed that that is a mythological correspondence to Venus's retrograde. Venus is retrograde a little bit more than 40 days, but if you consider the stations as stations, then yes, she is moving retrograde for 40 days. So we might consider the time, specifically, it's going to be December 19th, 2021 through January 29th, 2022. So we might think about that time as a period to intentionally give something up. As a former hairstylist, I think a lot about, especially with being a Venusian subject of beauty, is given the curling iron a rest for 40 days, or letting those toes breathe, or your fingernails, like take the polish off and let it stay off for 40 days, just to kind of let there be a reset of some kind. In a lot of yogic traditions, and many other traditions, there are fasts for 40 days because it's believed that every 40 days we have a new blood supply. So if you do something for 40 days, then you're supposed to be totally renewed afterwards. Like it takes 40 days to make a new habit. So we can use this Venus retrograde intentionally, but we can also look and see where is it happening in our chart, looking back 8 years ago to the previous themes that were coming up. And again, going back to Venus and Capricorn in general, what is that about? Less is more. Thinking about the things that really matter most to us in terms of how we spend our money, how we spend our time, who we're invested in. Thinking about, building an empire or not. Some of us are over that storyline. And I think another huge financial theme we'll be seeing is this billionaire tax. I think that will be Venus stationing retrograde, conjunct Pluto, in the sign of Capricorn, which very often deals with dominating world structures. And billionaires are definitely Plutonian. They're resourceful, they're shady, they're well-connected, and they basically function in a world unto their own, like free of the law. So this is like a big deal. This could be a very big deal if the billionaire tax passes. What that could also mean is that they'll just like dip out of the United States because, you can, if you're a billionaire, you can basically live from anywhere. It doesn't really matter where you're citizen. You're basically above the law if you have that. So it'll be interesting to see what unfolds in that regard. So yeah, that's a little bit about Venus and Capricorn. I'm sure that we will be talking about it a lot more as we move through these next 4 months. So that is a little sneak preview about what's ahead. And that was your Venus and Capricorn retrograde astrology shot of the day. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also visit me at my website where you can book your one-on-one astrological consultation where we cover all kinds of predictive and natal techniques. And I so look forward to working with you, and I will catch you next time.